So uh, we have completed DDP and DPP, the short form of dynamic document property and dynamic process property. Today we are going to see. Okay, let me introduce a new shape called process control. Okay, in this process, so this is that shape. Okay, what it basically do is we are creating a process within the process. Okay, so we have one main process. Okay, this is our main process. Let's say instead I'll create a separate folder for it. Data. This I will keep it as main server. Or what we can do is we can do a simple transformation, that is our XML to JSON. Okay? We can take this is our simple integration. So let me take. So this is our simple integration. What we are basically doing is we are going to convert from multiple XML to multiple JSON. But how I am going to perform that is from the different process. Okay, so I'm going to have a process call, and I'm going to create a different process which can do the same operation, not from the main process, but from the sub process. Okay, we call it the main process and sub process. So by using this process call, you can create n number of multiple sub processes for your core process. Okay, so based on your customer requirements or based on your user defined requirements, you can create your own processes within the process. Okay. So let me create that. And if you guys remember, I told you during the time of taking the start shape, right? We have seen connector, we have seen trading partner, and we have seen no data, but data pass through we didn't see, right? So yeah, here today we are going to see the data process, data pass. Okay, the use case for data pass through is only in this case it will work. Okay, when you are using a sub process, right? You have a main process and you are about to create a sub process. So this data pass through is uses. This data pass through is uses when you want to pass the data from your previous process, meaning from your main process, if you want to send any data to your sub process, during the time you will be using data pass through. If it is not having any information and it is an independent process, in that case you always go with the no data. So these are the two, mostly these are the two start shape information we will be using for any sub process. So if you have dependency with the previous shapes data, then you go with the data pass through. If you don't have any dependency with the previous shape data, then go with the no data. If you want to create it as an individual process, yeah, definitely you go with the no data. But yeah, you want to get some information from your main process, then you have to keep the start shape as data pass through. Okay, first we'll see with the data pass through, and then we'll see with no data. Okay, so why? Because why I'm going to keep data pass through for now is we need the message, right? So this is the message. This is the multiple XML message. We need to get in this sub process. Then only I can receive the information and then I can convert from XML to JSON. So we have the dependency to get the data from the main process. So for that reason, I'm keeping it as data pass through. Start shape as data pass through, and you know, for now, let me save this as sub employee XML This is our sub process. I'm just saving it. And once I save the process and once I configure the process, you see there are two options: wait for process to complete and abort if the process fails. These are the two options. So what these two options will do is, when you configure any sub process, right, for any process call, you will see these two options. So what is mean by this wait for process to complete means, when you start the integration, first Boomi will start with a message, and then it will move on to the next shape, that is your process call, and it will wait until the process call to complete, and then only it will move on to the next shape if we have anything in the main process. Okay, so that is how Boomi will always work. As I told, Boomi will always runs in a batches, right? So first it will work based on the uh, each shape, right? So first it will process message and then move on to the process call, and when the process call starts triggering, it will wait until that process to be completed. Once the process is completed, then only it move on to the next steps. Okay, that is how it will work. So for that reason, this option will work. So by default, when you configure any process to the process call, by default it will go as an hidden feature. Okay, and next one is abort if sub process fails. If there are any integration failure in this sub process, then our whole integration will fail. So this is your optional field, like if you can keep it or uncheck it. So in this case, if you want to abort the process if sub process fails, uh, if you check it, yeah, your process will be terminated. If you uncheck it, even though regardless of its error, you can move further. Okay, but by default, you always go with this option. Okay. So this is how you configure your process call. It's very simple to create a process call. Meaning, creating a sub process within the main process is very simple. Tag one process call shape, and inside the process call, you just create new component. That's it. Okay. Basically, you are creating a different process inside the same. Okay. So let me copy the shape here and copy it. Okay. This is as simple as that.
So, Ravi, what is the benefit of using this process, the
Okay,
shape?
okay. I'll tell you what is the benefit of using the process call. Um, I'll do this. I don't want to show you on record. Still, let me give you one example. Okay, okay. This is my user account. Okay, and you see how many shapes we are using here within the single integration. You see how many shapes I'm using. See, it is more than 1,000 shapes I'm using. Okay. So if I have more than 1,000 shapes in a single integration, during the loading time, it will take a lot of time. Meaning after the testing, right? If you want to check something, did I not say main process? Oh, yes. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll create a new process. Yeah, the thing is, yeah. So what I was saying is, so if you are having your business requirement having more than 1,000, 2,000 shapes in a single process, and it is not that much easy to see all the shapes in a single screen, right? So in that case, if you use sub process and keep a bunch of shapes in a single process, and like that, if you keep multiple sub process in the same process, uh, let's say in one functionality you're doing math addition, one functionality you're doing math subtraction, one functionality you're doing math multiplication. So if I keep all of them in a same process, it will mess up my process, right? And even during the loading time also, Boomi has this build page issue that if there are multiple shapes to load, Boomi will truncate the steps, meaning Boomi will successfully execute, but it will not show you all the logs and all the information for you. Okay, you cannot see most of the shapes information due to the high load. Okay, so we have that truncation issue in Boomi. So due to that reason, we are maintaining the sub processes, and we are maintaining the required modules in a separate set, so that you can go to that sub process and you can easily figure out what what functionality you are doing, and how it is working. This functionality details are you can see after the testing. Okay, that is the main reason we go with the process.